Hey there, welcome back to the table. So we last left off, we landed on the planet of, I think it's called Chosek. Here, I'll let you look at it. There's got the words Chosek. All right, it's very Seventh Continent-ish, if you've ever played Seventh Continent. I really can't stand the game Seventh Continent. It's like basically playing the game of memory. The direction you go is going to have the same outcome every single time you do this. There is very little randomization or luck. We will be rolling dice to move. So one thing that can happen to you is you can just simply get screwed by the luck. So the luck can screw you, but it can never help you, really. I mean, I hate to poo-poo it so much, but I don't particularly like this part of the game, I guess is what I'm saying. But with that being said, it is a nice breakup of the monotony of doing space battles. If there's anything to be said about Gloomhaven, is that it gets boring. 120 missions where you're constantly setting things up and you're basically doing the same machinations over and over again. Just, possibly dealing with different enemies with different abilities, just like we're fighting against different ships. After 120 goes at it, you're basically done, and you're okay with taking a break for 6 months or 20 years, whichever comes first. This is a nice breakup to the monotony. Okay, now if there's anywhere that I house rule things, it's here, and I have house ruled a few things. They're not major, and I will point out anytime that I'm deliberately house ruling something so you don't get thrown off, the trail. And I know some of you will be posting in the comments right away, you're not supposed to do that. Yes, I can, and watch me. They are going to be minor, but what they all are is I'm efficiently saving time. Okay? That's the key mantra here. I don't want to spend my whole life doing this. So I do a couple things to save time, and it'll make more sense as we get into it. Some of the planets in the future, like this planet is going to be a one and done. We're going to come here once. We're going to nuke it and do everything we're supposed to do. And then we're going to blow this popsicle stand and never come back. I mean, maybe you come back to this in Act 3. I don't know. But this is not a planet you come back to, at least to my understanding. So with that being said, there's other planets in the future where we're going to be coming back over and over again. We're going to come here, get some missions, then go off, do those missions, and then come back and get an update to those missions. So the key thing that you're going to see that I house rule is you're supposed to walk from spot to spot with each character individually. So this character has to roll 2 dice. This character has to roll 2 dice. This character has to roll 2 dice, and then this one has to roll 2 dice. And you have to do that again and again and again to get to, let's say, the pub, which is over here, right? That's where your missions are located. So you got to go boop, 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 and then get the mission, and then tear this whole thing down, go do your mission, and you come back and boop, 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 and then just to have the guy say, you did a great job. Drink more Ovaltine. And then you have to tear it down and go do some more missions, boop, 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 boop. That's the stuff I'm talking about. What a waste of time. So my son and I would literally not set any of this up, and we would just go straight to here and just do the mission, read the text. And you could argue, well, that ruins the game. No, trust me, it doesn't. And it's going to be very apparent right now. So first thing we do, well, first of all, I got to put this down. So we have our starting tile. We know that this is the southwest corner, just because you can only go up and over. It is possible that they could get cute and have it, go back that way. That's not the case on this one. The other thing you do is every character starts with 0 stress and 0 shield. I'm sorry. They start with 7 health. So this guy has 7 health, and you can see that here. And then the energy is going to be represented by shields. So in a 4-player game, they start with 7 energy. All All right. In a 3-player game, they'll have more energy than that. Than a 2 and a 1. Well, actually, they don't do support 1-player games. But in a 3 or 2-player game, it'll be like 8 and 9 energy. They'll have more energy. So this is going to be 5 health and so forth. So we got to set this up for everybody. So we're coming up here to Andrew. He's got 7 energy and 5 health. And then Starla, 7 energy and 6 health. Okay, so the amount of energy is the same for everybody. Now, here's the way this is going to work. You're going to spend 1 energy and take actions. Those actions are going to usually be dictated by your dice. Usually. Not always. This gets really wonky, but just trust me on this, that it's 1 energy for an action. So if your energy ever reaches 0, then your stress starts to go up. Okay? But there's things that happen, like, so let's say that I have to do a skill check. And that skill check, you can see that there's yellow and there's orange. And you're going to see here, see those dice? It's actually more of a green. So it's like a green and an orange. You see how it's half and half under the 2 there? What that means is that, let's say JB's doing this, he has to roll 2 dice. And so he rolled yellow, yellow. Well, that's fine, because to move to the right, he just needs to have 2 dice, period. Doesn't matter what the outcome is. When it's half and half like that, it means that both of them count. Sometimes it'll be pure orange. And in JB's case, he would have failed the check, and he would not have been able to move to that next room. So JB could then re-roll the dice. Well, if he re-rolls the dice, he has to take a stress to get another chance to re-roll those dice. So his stress is going to go up. If JB were to ever roll the stress die, he can count it towards his yellow or green, but he, of course, has to take stress for that. So there's reasons you're going to be taking stress while you play. Now, if the energy runs to 0, every time you're supposed to spend an energy and you don't have any left, your stress goes up by 1. So the big takeaway here is your stress is going to be going up for multiple reasons. And then once the energy runs out, it's for sure going to be going up. If the stress ever gets to 10, and then you have to take another stress, that could be because the energy is at 0, and that's causing you to take a stress, or you're taking a stress for this reason, okay? You then start losing health. And then if your health ever goes to 0, it's game over. Or what's that? Isn't it Paxton? Game over, man. From Alien. So anyways, these planet missions have a bit of a timer. Now, I will tell you, like, remember I told you, like, okay, we had to land and go boop, 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 boop to the pub and then back. Trust me, 7 energy is like more than enough energy. You could screw up and, get drunk and dance with the squirrels outside, back in again, and then cost yourself 2 energy each time and still get there. Like, the timer is much more generous than going to the pub and back. But for this particular mission, the timer is not going to be our friend. I am going to be spoiling this. For those of you who don't want to be spoiled, I don't know why you're here. But once you see this mission, you can't unsee what you're going to see. And there are some surprises on this, and I'm fully aware of what they are, and there's nothing I can do to change that. There was one FAQ thing. There's a couple FAQ things I'm going to bring up. One of them actually duped me because I thought it went the other way. But the designer clarified it opposite of the way I interpreted it. And I'm not saying that I'm always right, because I'm not. But it was interesting, and we're going to try it the designer way. It's definitely going to make it harder. This is not going to be a walk in the park. Now, the difficulty level of Abyss doesn't matter down here. This is the same difficulty no matter who you are or what difficulty you do. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's like I have several day breaks in between recordings. I need to verify one thing in the rules before we continue. It's a minor thing, but I do want to make sure I have it right. I want to make sure that the 7 energy is right. I'm pretty sure that's right. But let me just make sure of those things before I mislead you anymore. Okay, fantastic news. Everything's spot on. So we can, let's get going here. All right, it is important to know what your skills are, but not for this first thing. And I'll reveal and we'll talk about skills when we get there. I know it's definitely spoiling it for you, but to go north is a dead end. Absolute dead end to go north. So whoever goes north is going to be wasting their time. But there are some things you can get from going north, so it's not like a complete waste of time, but you're going to have to go up and then turn around and come back. Okay? So 3 of the characters are going to go east. Absolutely going east. So I think when my son and I played, we always tried to keep 2 characters together, and we grouped them based on skills. So let me explain. Starla here, if I can get her token out, is basically a jack of all trades, master of none. So you can see she has 1 of everything. All right, so she's good to have along no matter where you go. This one, you can see the hand and the heart. Don't ask me what it means. Courage is the heart or whatever, I don't know. But I know this is intelligence and that's strength. I don't remember those as well. But as you can tell, he's really good at 2 skills and awful at the other 2. So what you want is you want to pair him up with somebody who has hand and heart. So looking at this, we have Enver, which is JB. You can see he has hand and heart. And then he's awful at intelligence and good, okay at strength. So JB is the perfect character to pair up with Jaredon, which is, Josh in this case. And it just so happens that those are the 2 characters that my son controlled. And then the 2 I controlled was the Violet Ray and the Starla. And so, yes, we kept our characters together, not because we had an emotional attachment, but because they were like the perfect 2 to be together. Now, Violet Ray, which is Andrew, just to round this off, he has 2 hand and 2 intelligence. So he's not, he actually has a hand that Jaredon does not have, but they would both have 2 intelligence. And keeping them both together is not a good idea. If you've ever played Mansions of Madness, I love the concept of that game. FFG was so close to making the perfect game. I'm not a big fan of the Cthulhu stuff, but Mansions of Madness was so close to being perfect. And the reason it wasn't is because let's say I'm a character who casts spells, because you sort of cast spells in that game, right? And there's another character who has a gun, Tommy gun, whatever. The thing that was annoying about Mansions of Madness is there's you could go left, you could go right, you can go up, and you need to split up your party because you're on a sort of a time limit. So you can't just all stick together everywhere you go. So you split up your party, and let's say somebody goes into the kitchen. Well, in the kitchen, you end up finding something that you need to have high lore to be able to look at a painting in the kitchen or something. Well, the high lore person went left, and you went right. And so now here you are with your Tommy gun guy, looking at a painting that requires high lore, and of course you fail the check. And then you don't get the really awesome item that's in there. So then the high lore person that went left, they need to do some kind of strength check that the Tommy gun person would have been perfect for, but there you are sitting with all your lore, not able to pass the check. It's the most frustrating thing about the app because you don't know, and you can play that same scenario again, and because it's app driven, it just switches things up in that painting somewhere else. So your high lore person is the person who needs to look at that painting, but they're never in the right spot. Sorry about that, but that drives me nuts about Mansions of Madness. it'll drive you nuts about this particular phase as well. So I know I've been building up to it so much. Let's just get going here. So Starla is going to be the one that kind of take one for the team since she's versatile. And we are going to go north first because we're going to go ahead and hit the dead end. So what you do in this is you have 4 dice. So let's start off real quick. Everybody spends an energy. First thing you do in your turn. So everybody goes down 1 energy. So they're all at 6. First thing you do, if you start gaining stress, Starla has 4 dice she can spend. No matter what, you have to spend a minimum of 1 to meet the criteria. Do not forget that rule. That is in the rule book. It's not up for debate. It's one of those things, though, that's easy to forget. Okay, she wants to go north, and you can see here there's a 1 die check. So there's 2 ways to go about doing this. You roll 1 single die, and then you just live with, if you roll stress, you roll stress. Another tactic is to roll 2 dice, and then you only have to spend 1 of them. So if you rolled something like this, you could spend that die, but not spend that one. But here's the problem. Once her 4 dice are used up, her turn's over. Okay, that energy we just spent for this round is over. So if you want to maximize Starla, we only want to roll 1 die here. So let's do it. And I rolled an orange, right? So this is orange or green. It's either or. And I know that's hard for you to see, but I did bring this up close for you to see. So all it's saying is we need to now go to card number 3. So we take this thing and we find card number 3, which is this one. And then we flip it over and boom, you got yourself a new area and Starla automatically moves in. Now, you might be wondering, okay, she went that way. What if she has to go back? Well, there's another dice check. You always have to roll dice to move back and forth. Now, the good news with these is that these are very lenient. They're wild cards. You can see that they have the half and half symbol to go north. There's a half and half symbol to go south. And then here she can spend 2 dice to investigate what's likely this bloody patch. So that's an investigate. And we have no idea what's going to be there. Sometimes it's really awesome, and sometimes it's just flavor text. And that's something that can be annoying, right? Especially when you're in a rush. This is where it becomes Seventh Continent-like. Like some people really get off on this stuff. My son actually really loved this part. I sort of hate it because if I know that this is just flavor text, there's no way that I should spend 2 dice of my action to resolve it. But because I'm going to pretend like I don't know that this is just flavor text, I'm going to go ahead and roll 2 dice to resolve this. So this is going to be like the biggest waste of our time, but we're going to do it. So this dice is spent. So we're going to go ahead and roll. And then I rolled 2 yellows, which is fine because these are 2 wild. And then that number 2 there, what that means is that's not, see the green number is are these, right? The non-green numbers are, we have to go into the choose your own adventure. So we have to go to our mission book and then read number 2. You crouch down and find a crowbar caked in blood. On your left is a set of footprints leading north. Okay, I actually do get something for this. I forgot. It's not that exciting, but it does prove me wrong. So that part's good. It just means that my memory is not that good. I'm going to gain +1 strength for the remainder of the scenario. So that means Starla now has 2 strength instead of 1. That little, the arm there. But just for the rest of this scenario, which means the planet. As soon as she leaves the planet, her strength goes away. I don't know why, but that's what's happening. Okay, so 3 dice are spent, and then she has 1 more left. And it just so happens there's only 1 more die needed to go north, so she'll roll. And she did perfect. And then we got to grab number 4. And there you go. Let's bring this up closer so you can see it. So then you can see this is the dead end I was telling you about. And at the dead end, there is an intelligence check that requires 3 successes. And notice those are not wild cards. Those have to be move. This can be brutal. And so I needed to send somebody with more intelligence than one. That blows. And then there's another investigation up there. So she's made it up there, but now her turn's over. So what I can do now is I'm like, okay, fine. I wanted to keep two people next to each other anyways. I may have to send Violet Ray up there now because Violet Ray has an intelligence of 2. And Starla's intelligence of 1 is going to be really difficult. So let's talk about those skill checks. So let's say, so right there, it's an intelligence skill check where it requires 3 moves. So that means you need 3 of those. If you get this, that doesn't count. So you get to choose how many dice you're going to roll, but the maximum you can roll is 3. So, or 4, I mean. So if I did this, I actually would have passed the test. Actually, that's a really good roll. I would have passed it with flying colors, right? And then I even had a 4th one to boot. Okay? Because Starla's skill is 1, I could have rolled this and still passed because I had 2 dice, and since her skill is 1, I get to add 1 more success to it. So if I have a success or skill of 2, then I can just roll 1 die. That would have failed, but that would have passed because the 2 skill plus this 1 would have done the deal. All right, so I hope that makes sense. So all the skill checks in this game work that way. And it's just based on, in this case, it's intelligence. So, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to grab Andrew. And since he has the high intelligence, we're going to go ahead and move him up. I want to move here and here, which costs 1 die and another 1 die. So you can speed the game up and just roll 2 dice. Because it doesn't matter what you roll, you're always passing because it's wild. So just roll 2 dice to move 2 spaces, okay? And so in this case, though, Andrew rolled a stress, so he does have to take the stress. So that's the reason why you must roll, even though, because there is no side of the die that could have failed, but that's the one side you don't want to get. So anyways, Andrew's there, and then he's going to use his last 2 dice to do that intelligence check. And remember, the check is 3. He has a skill of 2, so only one of these needs to be a move, okay? But we're going to use both dice to increase his chances of succeeding. And there it is. So here, both of these can be used. He only needs 1, so we can ignore this one. It is still spent, but we don't gain the stress because we did not use the die. So he got the 3 intelligence, and so he passed the check. And I guess we're going to keep those 2 sticking together, even though I just went through all this explanation that they don't need to. All right, so then we're going to read entry number 7. And there is I'm just going to show you real quick. When you do these entries, you can see there's a success and there's a failure. So if you fail, for example, you're going to take 2 damage. But for succeeding, he definitely hacks into the door system and he explores and moves to card 7. So that's interesting. So it's a dead end where, right there, so he was able to hack into something and Andrew successfully moved into the complex. So that's going to be interesting because now we're going to have to decide with Starla, do we want to, in order for Starla to go through this, she has to also pass that intelligence test. This is one of the FAQ items. So somebody, playing the game, and the rulebook doesn't explain it super well. It does explain it. Since this test was passed, and Andrew was able to get through, can't Starla also move through? And the answer is no. Starla has to also pass a level 3 intelligence check. Thematically, it's dumb. If somebody figured out how to open a passageway, why can't they move through? And then that's the one thing that I don't particularly care for with this. But all I can tell you is the designer is right about one thing. Space combat may seem dumb if they're flying into the asteroids, when you could particularly tell the AI not to fly into the asteroids, right? But I've stressed over and over again, you need to fly them into the asteroids because that's what the game's balanced for. Well, it's balanced for this too. So I do get it. It's very annoying because Starla is very likely not going to pass as easily to get through there, and then she's going to have to walk all the way around, possibly. Or we waste turns trying to get through, which again could be a problem. Now I'm just reusing JB's dice over again. There's no reason to get all 16 dice out, but we're going to go ahead down here, and JB and Josh both need to go this way, and you can see it costs 2 dice to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and roll. This is for JB, and so you can see he passed, and so we're going to reveal card number 2. So JB also entered the complex, and you can see there's a lot of things to look at, and again, you don't have much clues in terms of like that one crowbar gave her strength. Some of these are going to just be flavor text, so sort of blows. But since JB has 2 dice left, he's going to do this one, this number 15, which requires 2 dice. Let me bring this closer for you. Here you can see that requires 2 dice. That only requires 1. That requires 1. And look at this. That's a strength check that requires 3 successes to be able to go north. So if you're a nerdy dude, you can go this way and over. If you're a strong dude, you can go this way and up, I guess. So JB, we're going to go ahead and do number 15 here. And you could, I mean, it's a pass no matter what. You're just rolling to see if he gains any stress. So we're going to do entry 15. Now, one thing Josh and I did, and we do recommend it for your game as well, is we would grab like some cubes here, and we would put that there to show that we successfully resolved that one. And then we successfully did this one too. Because these planets are large enough that you actually forget, did we look at this, whatever that is, it looks like a video camera. Did we look at that or not, you know? So put cubes down, and then that helps remind you of which ones you've done. Okay, 15. You reach down to pick up a gun. Oh, it's a gun, it's not a camera. And clean off the blood. There are spent casings littering the ground. This doesn't appear to have saved its last owner. That's literally it. We spent 2 dice to pick up a gun that we can't even use. Yeah. So next we go to Josh. So he's going to have to gain a stress. But he made it into the room. And then in this case, Josh is going to roll for 18. And there you can see we got a pass. So we're going to go ahead and do 18 here. Project Rebound. Entry 14, day 1. After countless submissions and proposals, approval has finally come from the head of the Akarios Institute. No doubt they see the benefit in soldiers that heal 3 times as fast. I hope that medical impact will be more widespread than the military application. Rather looking forward to starting active testing tomorrow. Lead scientist, Dr. Romero. I do think it's funny that they named him Dr. Romero, because wasn't Doom? Wasn't that the lead programmer was Romero for the Doom video game? And so, not to foreshadow, dun dun dun. Okay, and then Josh has 1 more die left, and so he'll use that to move east. And here we go. So that is number 6. And there he is. So he made it into the room, but now everybody's out of actions. So there's nothing left to do. And so now everybody spends another energy. So everybody's going down to 5 energy. So, by the way, this planet mission ends in one of, I think, 3 ways. The first one is everybody gets KO'd. That means you failed. The second one is everyone goes back to the beginning, which I think is meant to be this one. Usually it's like you have a shuttle or a pod that you landed from your ship and it's there. Or the third one is everybody gets to like a marketplace, like a dock for your ship. That's only 3 ways. So this energy is burning. We're down to 5. I know it sounds like we still have a lot, but we really don't. because as you can see, there's a lot of exploration, and these little itty bitty actions are consuming dice. So, all right, I need to pause real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, I've been gone for over a half hour here. If I remember correctly, we're starting with Starla here, and we're going to do the investigate here, which is 2 dice. I know it's hard for you to probably see. And then we're going to try to sneak her through the intelligence corridor, which means we need to roll the other 2 dice that are left, and they need to be a perfect roll. So it's a tall order, but we're going to try it. Let's do the entry first, which is 21. This would have been a perfect for the intelligence check, but it is what it is. 21. You examine the body on the ground. He has a grisly gash along the side of his head. It's a wonder he made it this far. His hand clutches a bloody piece of paper. With it, a set of numbers scribbled on it. And then it's got basically a code. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 digits long. So in our old and naive days, we used to write that stuff down. You don't have to. I do think it's important to get the code, because then when you get to the section for, where they ask you for the code, you can say, yeah, I have it. And they really will give you fake codes, and you got to pick the right one. So, yeah, we could write it down, but basically, it's entry 21 is the one we need to go to. I just need to remember to go back to it. And then we're going to use the last 2 dice now. And like I said, this has to be a perfect roll. And it was a perfect roll. We got a move and a move. And then she has 1 intelligence. So 1, 2, 3. She was able to make it through, but her turn's over. But everybody else gets to go. And this is perfect. This is exactly what I was hoping for. And okay, so now we're in this room. And you can see there's 3 dice worth of investigation checks. There's also 2 dice to get to here. This is a strength check to get to there. So I think what I'm going to do is, since Starla was behind, it took her whole turn just to get into the room. I'm going to leave those 3 checks there, and then we're going to spend the 2 dice to go here. So JB does that. And there you can see we're going to gain a stress. Now this is a case where if JB would have rolled 3 dice, he could have maybe avoided the stress, but that's okay. That's how the cookie crumbles here. And we're going to go to item 5. So once again, you can see that it's a strength check just to get back out. There's a big intelligence check, which is perfect for JB. And then you got a huge investigation here. There's a lot going on in this room. So this room would have been very difficult to get into unless you passed one of those 2 checks. So I think there's some good stuff in here. He only has 2 dice left. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the intelligence check, because that's not JB, that's Andrew. Andrew's got the big brain. He's 2 intelligence. So he only needs 1 success, and we're going to use his final 2 dice to pass this. And it was just in case I rolled a stress or something, but he passed it with flying colors. And in case you've been wondering, the intelligence checks tend to be the yellow, whereas the strength ones will be the orange. It's always that way. And then I think the heart check, I don't even want to guess, but you can see that there's a sort of a theme to it. But anyways, we did do it, so we got to read number 8 here. So let's do that. And in case you're wondering, I've been poo-pooing that a lot of these are just, crappy thematic things. You actually get parts for your ships and pilot skills and all kinds of stuff down here. So I'm not saying you're going to get it on this planet, but on other planets. There's some pretty good things, and they're in the most random of places. It's very Seventh Continent-like. So you have no clue that this one is better than that one. Okay. Success or failure, hacking this terminal for building plans would be hopeless, but someone left a sticky note with the password next to it. The password is password. You have downloaded the schematics. Each X represents a card. The exclamation point is the location of the repair package. Okay, so this is probably worth showing you. So basically, we're in this X right here, and it's just saying we need to get 1 room over to that room with the exclamation point. That's where our goal is. So helpful, yes. Was that worth 2 dice? Probably not. But there you have it. Okay, then we got 2 more guys here. This one needs to spend 1 die to just get over, so we will do that. And the die is spent. 3 dice left. This is for JB, I believe. So we're going to go ahead and let's see, we got the hand check here. JB's got 2 hand skill. So JB will roll, we're going to roll 1 die for this, 1 die for that, and 1 die for that. So we're just going to roll this one for the 17 check. And we got a wild, and so that's a pass. So JB just did 17. You scale the crates, and top there's a conventional tumbler lock. The lock appears to be broken. A firm tug confirms your suspicion as the lock falls off. Gain 10 credits. And that is only for JB in this case. So yeah, JB is now 10 credits richer than everybody else. Okay, so that's done. Can't do that again. And that is, by the way, another roll. You can't do the same thing more than once. Now the next 2, 6 and 10, you can see they're just investigation spots. I can just roll both dice. I don't have to roll them separately. And JB will gain a stress because no matter what he rolls, he passes. So he's up to 2 stress now. And yeah, we got to read 6 and 10. Here's 6. Project Rebound, Day 2. We were told that we would have willing volunteers. Instead, the High Command sends us prisoners, working off their sentences. Nonetheless, they seem compliant enough. Early testing seems optimistic. 1 note, subjects wake with a tremendous hunger, but that's expected with their elevated metabolism. Lead scientist, Dr. Romero. 10, you look through the glass and see a stack of crates, on top of which is an egg-shaped crystal. That's it. That must be what you came for. Now you just need to find a way in. So basically look through the glass and yeah, we're looking for something that's in this room. So yet another confirmation that that's the room we need to go to. Okay, last but not least, Josh still hasn't gone. So 1 die to go into room 11. Okay, and then there's 2 investigations here. This one is a repeatable one when it has the little arrow underneath. Let me show you. That one's repeatable. This one is not. So that little arrow underneath means it's repeatable. I don't remember what the heck that would be for, but so there's 2 schools of thought. One, since JB is behind, we can leave these for JB to do and then just keep exploring, right? That's one school of thought. The other one is, hey, let's explore both of these, which will let JB catch up. So that's the concept of keeping them together. I'm not sure one is inherently worse than the other. The one thing I will tell you is if Josh were to go up and then there's a skill there that JB is the only one good at doing, like the hand skill, for example, we just committed that JB has to go here and do these 2 investigations first before he can get there. And then you're basically making it so he's even further behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just roll these 3 dice, and then we're going to investigate 9 and 16. And there we go. We just didn't win any stress dice. Those are guaranteed passes. And then we'll figure out why 9 is repeatable. But we'll do 16 first. The screen on the terminal has unopened incoming message. No possibility of aid or pickup at this time. Project Rebound must be kept secret. Please resolve issue on your end. No further communication. Akarios Institute Command. This was several days ago. And then 9, you find a med kit. Heal pilot to full health. Well, that's great. So you can heal to full health there. That's repeatable. So you got to remember that, of course. I'm not real good at that, but nobody's taken any damage. Okay, so energy is down to 4. Everybody gets a new turn. I'm going to take these cubes because I know I've explored those. You could, because this is a med kit, excuse me, just leave that one uncovered. All right, I think let's go with JB first. He's going to take one die just to get into that room, and then it's going to be another die to get up there. Oh, he gains a stress. You get stressed out there, Mr. German. All right, he goes to room 10. Okay, see that little red? This is you must stop immediately and do an event. So that's no matter what, you got to do that before anything else. So JB just triggered that, and you can see he's in a room with a bunch of dead things. And then you can go this way, which is the room we're looking for. And then, of course, this way, because this is basically just a square facility. All right, so we got to read 14. Coming here was a mistake, is your first thought as you hear a high-pitched wailing. Startling the group, a terrifying creature jumps into visibility behind a glass wall. It proceeds to repeatedly smash its body against the glass wall in an attempt to get at you. The ugly beast looks humanoid except for the tendrils writhing out of unseen openings in its body, like a tentacled monster escaping its human confines. Cracks in the glass spider web from impact, and before you can act, it shatters. You only have a moment to decide how to react as the creature jumps through the window. Explore and reveal cards 1 through 12. Place a red cube on cards 10, 12, and 4 to signify the creatures. Boy, I didn't... So it said 10, 12, and 4. Which one's 10, which one's 12? 8, 2, 6, that's 11. So 10... 12 would be this one, and then 4 would be that one. Okay, and it's basically saying explore and reveal the rest. 1 through 12. Yep. So 8 would be here. 9 would be there. And 12 would be here. And you can see there's the same hand symbol with the same number. So the whole thing's revealed. A couple of things to point out. First, there was an investigation here that would have basically moved you into this room. So you could have gone to here and then jumped in. It would have taken 3 dice. These investigations here, I mean, none of these are explored. And so it does create a conundrum because, like, well, what if any of those actually mean something? Well, you can see number 4 here is actually written here and there. That's your clue. When you see a number that's in several places, usually you should avoid it because they're dumb. You're not going to get anything unique out of those. So as long as you're astute enough to see that number was in multiple places, and here, I'm going to read it for you. I mean, I know that we didn't spend the dice for it, but look at that. It's 3 dice for that. There, and then over there, you can see number 4, 3 dice, right? So you're spending a whole freaking action. And here's what it says. These goods appear locked tight and there's no way in. There's no reason to make noise trying to force them open. That's it. You would have spent 3 dice for that nonsense. So definitely pay attention to crap like that. It's in the realm of super duper crap. That's for sure. Okay. Getting more to the bones of it, they're telling us we have to go to 38. So this is not over. We revealed everything, but then we have to go to 38, and then these red are these monsters. And there's, like I said, there's a whole bunch of like entries we haven't read. We haven't done anything. So yeah, we got a lot to do, Scooby-Doo. Okay. 38. Then I'm just looking, is there anything else to talk about there? I don't think there is. Um, yeah. So let's go to 38. Okay, so this is saying creature encounter. Uses your action dice as a normal action would. So you read the entry corresponding to the number of assigned action dice to the skill check chosen. Then we go to step 37 after performing the creature encounter for the first time. So it shows like, for example, you can run. So you can run, it uses the hand. And you actually roll skill dice. And if you only get one, you take 2 damage. If you get 2, then move to an already explored adjacent card, take 1 damage, and then end your actions for the round, and do not perform any more creature encounters. Or 3, you manage to escape, move to an already explored adjacent card, and your actions for the round, and do not perform any more creature encounters this round. So if you do a run, that's one thing. Then you could fight, where you can take 2 damage, take 1 damage, but you remove the cube. Or you can fight and kill the creature and just remove the cube. Now it says, read the entry, corresponding number of action dice. Go to 37 after performing the creature encounter for the first time. There is no need to end these creatures. They seem to be spreading throughout the facility. In the beginning of each round, spawn 1 creature using a red cube and each explored card adjacent to a card that already has a creature. No more than 1 creature in a tile. If there are no more creatures on the board at the beginning of a round, spawn 1 on 4 and 10. If a pilot is in the same room when a creature spawns, or if a pilot moves onto a card with a creature, they must perform the encounter. So basically we have to escape. That's the problem here. But we not only have to escape, but we still have to get the device that we're looking for, which is in this room. And we got a big clue. Number 4 is repeated twice, so it's not going to be 4. And the only other thing there is to do is 23. Okay, so we spent 1 die to go here. We do have to encounter this, and this is JB. JB has 2 hands and only 1 strength. So we're going to go ahead and do a hand check, which means run. So JB is going to roll, and of course he passes. That's a pass. And so he will successfully run. But that ends his turn, I believe. It says you manage to escape. Move to an already explored adjacent card. End your actions for this round and do not perform any more creature encounters this round. So since I knew that was going to end my turn, I should have rolled my last die too, just to increase my chances of succeeding. Killing these guys is going to be helpful, and that's where Josh is going to come in. So we're going to roll 1 die for him. And of course, that moves him here. And then he's going to fight this creature. Now, Josh has a strength of 2, so we only need 1 success. So I'm going to roll 2 dice to succeed. And I'm sorry it's off camera, but I rolled this. Both of those are successes, so he more than killed this thing. So the red cube goes away. And then he has 1 die left. So he could go back into that room, but he's not. He's going to stay here for when this jerk spreads, so he can fight it again. JB's got to get this thing and then get out. And so Josh is basically helping him to get out. Okay, so now we go to the other ones. What do we want to do? Andrew has no strength, but he can run like the dickens. So he can run away from these things. Andrew just needs to get back to here. Because that is our objective. We need to get that device and get back to this corner, and that's how we escape this nightmare. So One thing though is there's a explorer here that uses 3 dice, and I already know because I've played this scenario before, but we want to do that. And these other, like getting to here, I did it too quickly. In fact, it took us a lot longer to get here last time. So this chaos of the zombies and stuff is it's happening a lot sooner. We were able to explore this base a lot more last time. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move this back. Let's roll. And yeah, it doesn't matter what I rolled as long as Andrew didn't roll stress. And so we're gonna read entry 26. Why have you come to my hell? A person is leaning against the wall, wheezing to himself. Who are you? One of the group asks. I am Dr. Romero, he coughs, blood sputtering from his mouth. Have you met my friends? I tried to make them better, but I was a bad doctor. Bad doctor. My dog is looking at me like, bad dog. His eyes close. His breathing sounds wet, like it's gone through a damp cloth. You should go before my friends come. They won't like you. It will be worse if they do. You can see the doctor is verging on the brink of death. He's not making any sense. So we actually have choices here. We can sorry, I was just looking at something else here. 28. Where the heck is 28? I don't even see a 28 on here. But that code we found, we could have entered, and then it would have moved us into this center tile. I just don't even see it. So anyways, that just means something else would have taken us there. Okay, so we can leave him alone to die. We can stay with him as he passes, or we can put him out of his misery. So I'm going to stay with him until he passes. Now, the put him out of his misery would have given us 10 coins. Because we would have basically robbed him, but we would have gained a trauma. So that would have been bad. Well, the traumas they're only bad if your stress gets high enough, but yeah, a trauma would not have been good. If we left him alone to die, we would have gained 4 stress, which is bad on this particular mission. And then instead, what Andrew does is he loses an energy, but he gains a pilot skill. So that's pretty good. The losing an energy is not, but gaining a pilot skill is pretty good. And so he gets to move up the chart. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it in here. And right there you can see I gave him 1/2 of his +1 cards. All right, he lost an energy. That was 3 of his dice. He still has 1 die left, so he's going to do nothing. He could explore 24, because it takes 2 dice to get out of here. So, yeah, he could have successfully explored 24, which is another Project Rebound entry. Day 6, results have been unproductive. Subjects are unruly. Once they realized we would have to injure them in order to commence testing, a scuffle resulted. Fortunately, I convinced them this was an excellent opportunity to undergo testing. Aggression seems to be rising with the increased testosterone levels required to boost healing. So clearly something's going wrong. All right. So unfortunately, Andrew's turn is over, but that pilot skill was worth it. That's why I said what I did. Okay, now Starla needs to go this way, and because we need to get out of here. She can also go down, down, and over. The problem is that Andrew has 0 strength. So to get through this would require a test of 3. Andrew's sort of stuck, so he would have to go up and over. And so Starla might as well go help him. The good news is that there's no intelligence check to go out. There was only an intelligence check to go in. So she's going to go ahead and use 2 dice. She gets through. She gains a stress. Of course, she's here, and now she has to fight this thing. She will fight it with her strength, and she only needed 3. And remember, she temporarily has that crowbar, so she has 2 strength. So she only needs 1. That means she can ignore the stress. So she still did 3 damage to kill this guy. Then we're done. So that's it. So now it's beginning of the round, and we have to do what it says. So it says that spawn 1 creature using a red cube in each explored card adjacent to a card with a creature. So basically, 1, 2, 3, and 4 all spawned. So that's not very fun. So if they spawned, the pilot must perform a creature encounter right now. So the thing that stinks is I need actions to do this. Oh, crap. Okay, so we need to fight, unfortunately. So here I have a strength of 2. I'm just going to roll 1 die. I got the 3, so he kills what he needs to kill. Here, JB has a strength of 1, which is helpful. So he's going to roll 2 dice. He needs to get 3 successes. And of course, he rolled 2 miserable. So he's going to take a stress to re-roll those. So let's do that. All right, so he made it to 2 successes. And at 2 successes, he kills the creature, but he takes 1 damage. So JB is going to lose a health. He's down to 4 health, but the creature does die. All right. And then we got Andrew here. Andrew is well equipped to run, which would then cause him to, it ends all of his actions. That's the problem with running. But he's going to have to spend way more dice than that just to get out of there. So he's going to go ahead and roll all 4 dice and run. And sure enough, he succeeded. So he successfully runs to, well, he could run to any adjacent room. So why would he run this way? He would just run this way. That would be the smart thing to do. Absolutely it would. Okay, so next thing's next. JB, as we know, had to spend 2 dice to pass his test. So he needs to do 23 here, which requires 3 dice, and he can't. So the freaking turn is going to be wasted. He can't do anything else. So Josh spent 1 die, so he'll spend 1 more die to go in, and that passes, of course. And now Josh is down to only 2 dice, and he can't explore 23 either. So so they're both going to wait, but Josh is at least there to kill the guy for him, so that way he can do the explore, because we need to get our item. And then Starla up here in the corner, we're going to go ahead and roll 2 dice, just like that, and then she's going to make it back to Ollie Ollie Oxenfree. So she's ready to get out of here. She doesn't know what's taking them so long. Okay, end of round. So everybody's going to lose an energy. So Starla's down to 3. Josh is at 3. JB is at 3. And Andrew is at 2. And then they're going to spread. And there. So one of the other FAQ items, the one that I didn't think the developer was going to agree with, these monsters spread through walls. We thought that in order for, it would need to go down and then over, right? They needed to follow the same rules of physics that we do. But apparently the monsters spread through walls in this. Sorry, caffeine time. Okay, starting with Josh. He's going to roll 1 die to fight this creature. And of course it passes, creature's dead. Starting here, he's just going to run away. We're going to roll 2 dice. Andrew passes, and he's running away over here with Starla. They're both ready to get out of Dodge. These yellow cubes, we don't need anymore. We're not doing any more exploring. We're basically done. Enver has to do 3 dice to do this thing. So we're going to go ahead and do that for him. That would be JB. So JB does have to take a stress. He's up to 5 now. And then we read entry 23. You force open the crates until you chance upon the correct one. Inside is the egg-shaped crystal that makes a jump drive travel possible. You stuff it into your backpack as you hear not too distant sounds of screeching and rustling feet. It's time to get out of here, and quick. Read the success conclusion after all conscious pilots reach card 1. So we've got to get back to card 1. So JB has 1 die left. We're going to go ahead and roll that now. And then JB will use that to escape to this room right here. And then, of course, Josh will spend 1 die and also escape to the same room. And they're just going to stick together. All right. So these things are going to spread. Starla has to kill the one that spreads into her room. Josh will kill the one that spreads into his room. And this cycle is going to basically rinse and repeat. So we'll try to go through this as quickly as possible. They're down to 2 energy. Andrew is down to 1 energy. The red cubes will spread. And basically the whole facility is filled with red cubes. We're going to start with Starla. She's going to roll all 4 dice to fight this thing. She's going to just take the one that applies, and this thing dies. I guess I could have gotten a little bit smarter. Sure, I'm going to get a little bit smarter. We're going to roll just 1 die. Okay. That would have required her to get a stress, because that did not work. We're going to have to roll again. And there's another stress for her. So maybe this was not a good idea. But okay, we rolled 1 die. And then what's going to happen is she's going to now spend 2 dice to go into this room. And then she's going to roll 1 die and then take a stress and kill this one too. I don't know if that was worth it. So up to 4 stress there. Okay, next we got Josh over here. He's going to roll a die. And he does kill it. Then Josh is going to move into the next room, which is another die. Doesn't matter what he rolls. And then he's going to fight this one. And he's going to roll 2 dice for this one. Nope, just 1. And he hits it. So this one dies. And then he's going to go 1 die to get into the next room. Is he going to do that? Hold on. If he goes into this next room, he's going to take damage because he has no dice to roll to fight the thing. Nope, he has to stop. So then Enver's going to roll 1 die and basically just move 1 space for that whole action. And then the Starla thing is going to backfire too, because these things are going to spread again. Yeah, that wasn't a smart move. Okay, everybody's down. Starla's down to 1 energy. 1, 1. Andrew's down to 0. These things spread. Basically go everywhere. We're going to start with Josh. He's going to take a stress. He kills the one that's with him. He's up to 2 stress. Starla kills the one with her. And then Andrew can roll all 4 dice. We're going to attack this thing. And he got 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. He only needed 3, so Andrew killed his. Okay, so Andrew doesn't need to move. Josh is going to move. So he spent 1 die. He's going to spend 1 to move into here. And then he's going to spend 2 dice to attack. And he succeeds, kills this. Starla's going to spend nothing. Andrew needs to go, let's see, 1 die, 2 die, 4 dice. So he's going to roll all 4 dice. Not Andrew, but JB. JB's going to gain a stress. And he moved all the way back home. All the way back home. This little piggy, right? So now we end our turn. So everybody goes down to 0 energy. And Andrew is already at 0 energy, so he gains a stress. He's up to 2 stress. Everybody's still full health. We're doing great. Cubes are going to come in, so we're just going to have Andrew roll all 4. 1, 2, 3, so he kills his. Starla is going to roll just 1, take a stress. Starla kills hers. She's up to 5 stress. Josh is going to roll 1, kills his. So all those cubes are dead, and there's technically a cube there. In order for Josh to get home, Josh needs to spend 1, 2, 3 dice. He has 3, and it doesn't matter. Just roll in for stress. And then Starla needs to roll 2, and she got hers. So everybody's home, and we succeeded. Mission over. So I know some people were complaining that they barely had enough time to escape. We breezed it like nothing. But just understand, I've done this before. I knew what I was getting into. If you would have taken more time to explore and not have rushed so much to get to these 2 locations, yeah, you would have burned a lot more energy before this explosion just happened. But it really does become a puzzle to get out, because you basically need the people with the strength to kill the zombies so the other ones can move. And then once you're where you need to go, you can roll all 4 dice and still win, because you can always fight, even if you have 0 skill in fighting. It's just you need more dice to succeed. Okay, so we made it there, and we got to read the conclusion. So I'm going to put this here so you can see, and we are in the success category here. You get back to your ship just in time. The creatures swarm you, but a few blasts from your ship's aft cannons clear a number of them away. You pull back on the controls and lift away, leaving the chaos below you. You can't get back to the Sparrow's hangar fast enough. Once you've docked, you sit in your cockpit, catching your breath, trying to make sense of what you just seen. You barely notice Grease approaching, laughing as she looks at you. The look on your face, ha, I bet you haven't been that scared since your mama came after you with a wooden spoon. There's an awkward silence, and then the pilots blankly stare at her, still too shaken to get angry. Grease shrugs obliviously. For crying out loud, get over it. You're all here. You've got all your fingers and toes. That's better than most other people today. Now, where's my equipment? So we get a reward. The Sparrow gains 4 supply, and we all get a pilot skill, and we go to scenario 9. So these guys go back, and then this gets picked back up. And I'm sure there's a numerical order, but we'll sort that out later. The big one is the Sparrow gains 4 supply. So right now it's at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. You never have too much supply. And the other thing is that the gauge only goes up to 10. So what happens if you hit the max? The rules don't explain that. So we just played that, yeah, you just put another cube in, and you can have 14, 15, you can have 100 if you like. But okay, and then every pilot gets a skill. So let's put this here. Now you might be thinking, that planet was pretty easy. Yes, it was. This is the prologue. Remember, we're still in the prologue, folks. There are going to be much bigger planets coming up. And some of them are frustrating to me. Like I said, I don't enjoy it as much, but it definitely gives a nice break. Okay, so for Andrew, he finished a skill because he got one while he was down there. So he now has 2 +1 cards added to his deck. So let me grab those right now. It's these. And I just knocked over JB's deck. JB got a little jealous. Calm down there, mister. All right, here we go. All right, Enver. Yes, we're going to get rid of, so we could choose to lose a 0, which actually increases the odds of getting a negative. But once you get rid of these negatives, then that losing the 0 is a good thing. But initially, it's a bad thing. Or we could just go for a ship upgrade, right? So JB could take that path and just upgrade his ship. To be honest, the ship upgrades, because we're taking so much damage, we haven't really focused on this too much, but the first upgrade gives you +1 hull or +1 shield. So that's 1 more health, but every upgrade after that is 2. 2 hull, 2 shield, 2 hull, 2 shield. So theoretically speaking, you could have 2, 4, 5 extra health in some variation of shields and hull. But you can get 5 extra health. And 5 extra health when you're fighting against something that does 7 damage, okay, fine. That's not that much more. But considering the fact that we're just barely getting, like sometimes we're receiving 8 damage, but we only have 7 health points. So getting that 5 extra health will allow us to take and absorb that hit, which makes the space battles a little easier. So we could do that and not get rid of a 0. Because how important is it to get rid of a 0? JB, I'm going to let you decide. So I know you watch faithfully, so I'm going to let you pick. How do you want to do your upgrade? And Andrew, same for you. I know I've chosen for you now. Do you agree that this and this are the next 2 that we're going to do? Otherwise, chime in and let me know. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you at least to here before I start to figure out what else to do with your character. And then JB, I'll let you decide. I'm tempted to say let's go for the spaceship upgrade, although there's a lot of other opportunities to get those, right? There's 3 of them right here, in fact. So you don't necessarily have to go for these. This is your one chance to get rid of a 0, so there's less of those in your deck. I don't know. Like, I think mathematically this works against you now, but once you get rid of their -2 and 2 of the -1s, this works positively for you because the 0s are neutral. So getting rid of a neutral makes it more prone for those. So I won't fill one in. I'm going to let you decide. So get back to me on that, and hopefully I won't forget to do that. Here we go. Josh is in the same boat. He's got a 0. And so we're going to go ahead and, yeah, we're going to fill in a ship upgrade for him. So we go. We're 1/2 there. And then Starla, yeah, we're definitely going to get rid of a negative here. So they're done. Okay, so we did that. We gained a 4 supply. Now it says go to scenario 9, which is the very next scenario on here. Oh, another space battle. So I would have to set that up separately. So we're going to have to do that. Looks like the Sparrow's going to be involved, and it's going to have 10 hull. After round 3, we got to read the second story part. Yeah, so there's some stuff that's going to happen here. I remember this mission. Yeah. Okay, we'll see you next video. The prologue's going to end, guys. And ladies, the prologue's going to end. That's all I'm saying. I think this is the very last mission of the prologue. Congratulations, you've completed the prologue. See, that's the next page over. So we do have a scenario 10, but that's more of a choose your own adventure. So we're almost done. Home free. And then we can start Act 1. And that's when the magic really starts. All right, thanks a lot. And as always, stay awesome.